it's so clear that fathers need their daughters and that daughters need their fathers, and that we need to be able to be in community and not stuck behind plexiglass or monitors and, electronic devices. And we need to be in community. The fact that you can't touch your child is just, it's inhumane.
I was asked to do a TED Talk about the father-daughter dance in the jail. I had many filmmakers reach out to me after the TED Talk and said they thought that this would be a great, story to tell to the world. I did as well, but I had other storytellers, sometimes the local news, a journalist would come in, and I wasn't always satisfied with the story because they would leave out one key point, and that was the girls. The girls who actually came up with an idea to connect with their fathers on their own terms. And so when Natalie reached out to me, she got it. She understood that the girls needed to be at the forefront, and also invited me to be a co-director because she understood that representation mattered. She understood that I knew the families. And so together we were able to bring our strengths, our talents. Our community has also been supportive of making this into the doc that we have today. So it happened organically, but throughout the process, we also broke down the boundaries of a typical doc together.
When I saw Angela's TED Talk, it just was such a powerful story, and I've worked a lot in the women's space, and it was just one of the most powerful examples of what could happen when we listen to young women's ideas. And so, yeah, we met, we really saw very similar. We've got similar tastes in music and visuals and all this kind of thing. So we just love the same stuff. And we're also knew the power of the music and the dance and the touch and these elements that we really wanted to bring out as threads in the film. And each year the film needs something different. Honestly, we thought it might only take 2 or 3 years, but we actually took 3 years to get a dance filmed because the program went on hold. Things happened, so then we finally got a dance filmed in 2019. Then there's a pandemic, there's all these other obstacles, funding. So we just always have each other's backs, and I think can wear many hats together. So it's been great, great collaboration.
What was your favorite part about the process of being in the documentary?
It'll probably be the father-daughter dance because that's the time I got to see my dad the most, and we had lots of fun. That's probably the best memory I've had in my whole life.
Learning more and more as the film went on, I think even before COVID, hundreds of facilities were stopping in-person visitation rooms and even stopping the visits on either side of a glass wall and replacing that with video apps, video visits, or letting tech companies come in and actually charge families. It can be $7 a text message, $15 for a video visit. So it's the prices are insane, and then they make this experience so dehumanizing and end up causing more damage. And a lot of the girls that we've spoken to have just said they don't even want to do these visits and stuff like that. So it's really important for people to see what it's doing on that side and understand the cost, both financially and just what it does to people's lives.
I went to this very elite, fancy private school for high school, and at our school we had a father-daughter dance, and I always saw that as something that more privileged communities do. And I never unpacked why that is, why would that be? And so to hear about this really special tradition that's so important in the maintenance of a bond between a father and daughter being taken into a space where people are so dehumanized, I thought this is a really powerful idea, and I immediately wanted to watch it and learn more about it.
What was it like watching the footage of the documentary and seeing it all together? What is that like?
Just to see, the part throughout the documentary where we sitting down, because, we was incarcerated at the time, so we had our suits and ties on, and we was all lined up, and our daughters came from, down the hallway, in a line. Just, to see that from the outside looking in, it was just, like I said, it was life-changing. Then fast forward to, when we had to let reality really kick in when our daughters had to leave us, and, people cried, daughters cried, some daughters didn't understand, why he not coming with us, You know, they didn't really understand. If our message get out there, I think that it'll change a lot of people's lives, you know, because even if you're not a parent, you're still somebody's child.
Well, I just want to shout out these two over here because, you know, you guys are community organizers. You transform. You're in the community every day in Richmond, Virginia. You have been for years, before the film, after the film. And I think part of what we want people to understand is that when you watch the movie, if you want there to be change, like, you don't actually have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
There are people dedicated to transforming communities and making the world a better place, and they are doing this heavy lifting every single day.
Those who watch the film who don't participate in conversations or read press or hear from Angela won't know that it really started with the power of voice. And for our youth voice, our daughters in particular, but also for me as an advocate for fathers being accountable, putting them in a position to have conversations among themselves and then being challenged enough to find a plate to step up to, not only to advocate and be present for your child as best you can, but be willing to take the charge of carrying the shield of, hey, I was transparent in this space and you can see a glimpse into my life. Because the men that are behind the wall don't have advocates. They're classified by number, or they're classified by statistic, or they're classified by public opinion about what it is they've done, classified by crime, classified by conviction. But their voice being heard brings it back to the human story. This story is being driven by real people in real lives, and the work that we do particularly is about that. So I'm really hopeful that the conversations continue.
You know, when we tell this story, this happened because a young girl had an idea, and these girls wrote a letter to their sheriff. And in a lot of communities, you vote for your sheriff.
Yeah.
People don't talk about all the down ballot elections that happen, you know, judges, sheriffs, school boards. But you have to show up not just to vote for the big elections, the governors, the presidents, the senators. Those are important. But also, that sheriff had the open heart to say, let's try to make this work. Let's see if we can make this work. I don't know how it's going to work, but this sounds like a great idea. We have to elect people in positions of power that are willing to be led by their community, that know that their salaries are paid by our tax dollars, that we don't work for them, they work for us.